If you want to learn how to design and create your own characters in a pixel art style, then stick around and I'll show you how. Last year I released a game with a friend in pixel art style called Pixel Pirate. Originally, pixel art was used in game development because of the technical limitations of the engine's boring. Retro pixel art is really cool though, so definitely look that up, but that's not what this video is about. I ended up doing over 15 characters in the game, and to break down that process, this is what I did. I made a rough base template for all of the characters because size similarity was important. I gathered reference for the character that I was creating. I worked on the silhouette of the character first to make sure it was readable. Then I continued to refine the design and apply the style that I was going for. This process works for all types of 2D character design, not just pixel art, but I'm going to demonstrate this with pixel art because it's fast, fun, and it looks great. Just like your mama. Anyone? Yeah. Fast when running away from your bald ass head. Oh. Instead of just talking about the process, let's go through this step by step with a task. For this, I'm going to be using Sprite, which is a pixel art and animation editor on the computer. It's really cheap and it's my favorite pixel art editor, but you can use anything you want because the principles still apply. There are loads of programs out there for the computer, mobile, tablet, so find the one that you like to use and try and follow along. So the task is simple. Make a frog. Step 1, the reference. Okay, so Lady will be joining us. This is Lady. It's the only way I can keep her quiet. Okay, so first step here is to gather some reference. I use this program called PureRef. It's really cool for putting all your reference images in one spot. If I asked you to draw an alligator right now, you might not know how to draw an alligator, but with reference you can do that pretty easily. It's not cheating, don't worry about anything like that. So I'm just going to get some images of some frogs from Google Images and Pinterest. Frogs. So I'm looking for pictures which show the anatomy of the frog, but also just some interesting frogs that I like. So let's have a look. I like this image because it shows the way his leg and his hand work. They bend. Anatomy style. But while I'm doing this, I can see as well the type of shapes that make up frogs. Like this one's very long, rectangular, but they got big eyes. Anyway, it's just a frog. Who's that on there? Who is it? It's you. It's you. Yeah, just a frog. So I've got some references here about how frogs look. It can also inspire you when you're coming up with a character design. I like the way these guys are kind of suspicious. And this guy is just happy, simple. So I think for my character, a character note that I'm going to make is a simple frog who is just completely oblivious to everything that's going on. So I need to find some style reference, some pixel art that I think looks cool, some colors that I think work really nice. So let's do that. I really like the art on Bomb Chicken, so I'm going to check that out. So I just gathered a couple of references for style. I really like the black outlines on Bomb Chicken and also just how simple their shapes are. I mean, this chicken is just a circle, but you can tell that it's a chicken. This didn't take very long to gather some references, and usually I'd go a lot more in depth. Usually I'd go a lot more in depth. Usually I'd go a lot more in depth with this. God, that's hard to say. Usually I'd go a lot more in depth with this. Usually I'd do more reference gathering and research, but this should be good enough for the task that I'm doing today. But definitely don't skip this step because the more prep you do, the better your design will be. Especially if you have a backstory to your character, you know, what makes your character unique? Is it evil? Is it good? What are their motives? And why are they like that? What events in their life have led them to be like that? You'll create a better character if you do more prep work, that's for sure. Step 2, silhouette. Like I said, I'm using Sprite for this. I've got my reference open here on another monitor, so I'll use that and keep referring back to it when I'm making my designs. The silhouette and shapes are mega important. Knowing about shape theory can help you push the personality of your character. I have a short video on shape theory, so if you're not sure what that is, you can check that out. You don't have to follow it too strictly. You know, you are the artist. You get to choose what to do at the end of the day. So, you know, take that with a pinch of salt. Right. Not actually pinch of salt. Don't actually eat salt. Right. Let's create frog. I'm just going to use a 16 pixel by 16 pixel grid here, but you can use whatever pixel size you want. And I'm just going to get started with some silhouettes. So my character is a simple frog who is completely oblivious to everything that's going on. I think I'll try just a big circle. First of all, from my reference images, I can see here that the frog's eyes sort of pop out. If I can show the eyes popping out of the silhouette, it might be instantly recognizable that that's a frog. So I'm going to try and do that with this first design. So does that look like a frog? I'm not sure. Let's keep working on some. Let's try pushing the eyes a bit. That's a little better. That's starting to look more like a frog. But I don't want it to be too skinny or spindly. I want it to be a very basic shape, but also sort of recognizable as a frog. I think this first one was probably too basic of a shape, and the second one is too complex of a shape. So let's try an in-between. That's better. We're getting more. I just want to try and keep it simple. It seems like a very fat sort of frog, but I kind of like this idea of something very simple. Now that I'm happy with the silhouette, it's time to move on to the next step. Step 3. Style. This is the fun part. You can continue to refine the silhouette by putting it into the style that you want. Definitely helps to have a style guide for this point, so gathering reference or doing previous designs will really help you out. I like to create my own color palettes, but if you don't know how to do that, or you don't know the color theory behind it, you can use this website called Low Spec, which is really, really good for it. So let's just find a color palette that I like and use that for the frog. I'm going to go with this Pico 8 palette because the Pico 8 is awesome and these colors are really nice and vibrant. So I'm just going to start developing this and let's see how it goes. I think I'll give him the green as a base. Let's give him this outline. I'm going to simplify the silhouette a bit because it just looks a bit too complicated still at the bottom. See, I don't think the silhouette is perfect here, but I'm going to try and refine that a little bit more with the outline and the design. So let's try and fix it. Green. Frogs are pretty difficult, aren't they? I'm trying to give them legs without them destroying the shape too much. So I've added some legs, I've changed the silhouette a bit. The silhouette doesn't really look like a frog anymore, but I'm not too worried about that because the color helps define these parts that we did have in the original silhouette. So let's keep going. So I'll keep that as a base for now. Yeah, it doesn't really look silly. It looks a little bit traumatized. I do like this. This is cool. Might be getting a bit too complicated, but you can see from that one his silhouette actually looks a bit more like a frog. But I do just like how simple this guy is. So I'm just going to keep developing this sort of simple shape style just because I think it looks cool. Just keep pushing the pixels around and try and find something that you like. Zooming out definitely helps with pixel art as well, so try and do that often or have some sort of preview window where you can see it from a zoomed out point of view. Okay, I kind of like that. I think this is what I'm going to go with. I think this is the frog that I needed. He looks kind of silly with a nose. Push his body down. I like that. I like pushing his body down just a little bit there. I think that's my final frog. My final little pixel art character. I like that. There we have it. Our own pixel art frog. You can use this as a template for style to create other characters. Here's a bunch of frogs. Bunch of frogs in the same style for a game that never got made. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you made a frog, make sure you send it to me at SoulTunes on social media. I also have a Discord channel you can join if you want to share your work or if you have any questions. I'll be on there. There'll be links in the description for all of that stuff. Please come and join me in the Discord because I've got no friends. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Right, let's crack on.